the governing part of it is the bullet point above, because we know that Elhydro is a non-dealer company, and therefore Elhydro is only allowed up to 3 motor vehicles every 3 years, not 110 in 1 year. So when they come and they tell you about the second bullet point, say, oh, you know, certified motor vehicle dealers allowed any category and quantity for resale, and therefore it wasn't for resale, and therefore Elhydro, and they try the twist and they turn themselves into pretzels. But people, don't be distracted, because that is not the governing provision. The governing, because Elhydro is not a certified motor vehicle dealer. Elhydro is a non-dealer, is considered a non-dealer. Here it says, businesses importing motor vehicles fall into 2 categories, and 2 categories only. Non-dealer, certified. Elhydro is a non-dealer, therefore they're allowed only up to 3. But they were granted an exemption to bring 110. And then we go here, can damaged vehicles be imported into Jamaica? We don't know about, no. See that? The importation of vehicles that are damaged or salvaged cannot be brought into Jamaica. We don't have the record of these buses to see if they were involved in accidents, if they put them together in a junkyard. We don't know. We really don't know. So we could go to the school buses section now. Well, on the Jeffrey. Here it is now, people, and we've been mentioning this all along. Why was Elhydro Limited put in charge of school buses? And what's it put in charge of? They were involved in it. The letter from the appropriate agency said it, that they were granted permission to bring in these buses. Elhydro sells industrial oils, greases, and chemicals, not motor vehicles. And somehow this company had a contract to import 110 school buses into Jamaica. And it's right there on the screen. Serious questions. Why was a non-dealer awarded a contract of this scale when a non-dealer is only allowed 3 buses over a period, or 3 vehicles over a period of 3 years?
And not only that, Mr. Sorry, go ahead, finish, go ahead.
And the other one, why did they bypass certified, experienced vehicle dealers? And I know some of them, I've spoken to some of them, and they're very upset about this. Why were they bypassed? And they were already operating in Jamaica. They have the know-how, they have the contacts, they have the experience. They could have done this. Question is, who approved this and why? Now we know that there's a letter. There's a letter there saying that it was done, but we don't know if that person is the person who actually did it. Now, to your point, pre-shipment inspection waived. It says Minister Vaz stated that all buses carry the 2025 U.S. inspection stickers. Therefore, it was not necessary to do pre-shipment inspection.
Lie.
I'll leave it to your own judgment.
Lie.
What's the problem? Here's a problem. In the U.S., school bus inspection certificates are valid for 12 months. So a 2025 inspection decal means the bus was inspected when, Jeffrey? 2024.
Lie.
Or going into 2025.
But hold on, Mr. Rockigan. But if the bus are 2010, how the hell can they have 25 inspection stickers on them?
No, what they're saying is that they were inspecting them. They inspected the buses, the function, and you know when they carry your car go get inspected, right? It don't really matter the year, them just inspect it and then but the sticker is for the upcoming 12 months, right? So here's the thing. If a 2025 inspection decal means the bus was in, it means the bus, no. If since it's valid for 12 months, the only way you could get around that, you'd have to go take your vehicle like December 31st, 2024, and then you can say, well, then boy, them have 2025 sticker because it would have run over in a 2025. But here's the thing. It means the buses were, but what that means is that the vehicle would have been inspected in 2024, right? If the inspections had truly happened in 2025, the buses would have had 2026 stickers. when we go inspect, when do the inspection and whatever, that's how them do it. You go inspect it at 2025 and the sticker is 2026, meaning that's when it expires. right? Vaz said he was saving taxpayers' money, yet he claimed a team of engineers and a team of engineers and the ministry officials went to the US to inspect the buses anyway at taxpayers' expense. So we're asking in our ATIs, who went?
And not
The cost. How long they stayed? Where did they go? Who did they talk to? Where is the report? We're asking for all of these things.
And not only that, Mr. Rattigan, if the minister said that a team of JUTC mechanics and officials went to the United States, the last time I checked, not because Darrell Vaz used to own a used car company. Darrell Vaz is a mechanic. Why didn't he use the JUTC mechanic to explain to GIS cameras men about the engine of the buses? When he was out, they said, "Oh, this is the Thomas engine bus and this whatever." Why didn't you make the JUTC mechanics explain to the Jamaican people? Why you, minister, doing it?
The experts were there. And a dear friend of mine who's in the automotive industry explained to me that if you buy a bus from Florida and you're going to use that bus in the hills of St. Mary, you're going to have to change the differential, because the differential for a bus designed to run on flat surfaces is a different differential you're going to have to use when you have to go climb hill. And they said it wouldn't make sense for you to change the differential in a 2010, 2011 bus. It wouldn't make any sense. It's prohibitively expensive to do that.
So, Mr. Rattigan, pretty soon, the Jamaican people will be seeing all of these school buses along the road brought down, can't move, and 1.4 billion are gone like some out.
And I'm telling you that I've never looked at school buses the way I'm looking at them now. Every time I see one now, I know I'm almost an expert. I can't tell you whether it's a freight liner, whether it's an international, whether it's Thomas, whether it's Bluebird. I can tell you now simply because of what the minister did. Right? Now look at this. It says, let's ask the obvious question. If the goal was really to save money, Minister Vaz, why didn't they award the contract to a certified procurement company that knows what it's doing? Why? And listen to this. The invoice we have, it comes from a company out of Chicago called Triarii Advisors LLC. Right? It's a US-based company listed as the exporter of at least the 26 ones that we're looking at. And their business is consulting. So we want to know, what is their role? Are they freight handlers? Are they brokers? Are they middle people getting paid? We saw where they said that they have a reseller's license in Illinois. And a reseller's license is when you buy something and you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
So that's passed on certain taxes and things like that. So are we saying that Triarii purchased the vehicles and then sold them to the Jamaican government? There's a lot to be ferreted out there. We have a lot more work to do, people. That's why we're going to have part 4. Was this about moving buses or moving money, people? Here we go. The question is this. Oops. How many persons, companies are really involved in this 1.4 school bus initiative? How many? At best, this looks like sloppy mismanagement, but we know it's because this is not sloppy mismanagement. This appears to be intentional and deliberate, knowingly and intelligently. This doesn't appear to be, dumbos running around. And by the way, remember now, they either have degrees or they have common sense, and the rest of us have not
dumb
idiots. But what we know is that it has resulted in waste. It has resulted in abuse of the law. And therefore, at this point, we're calling on the Auditor General to conduct an audit. And you know why, people? Because the Auditor General has the authority. She has the authority to recommend a surcharge action to the financial secretary in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service. And we're saying, let's look at the invoices, let's look at all the documentation, and where we see that we have overspent, we must issue that surcharge action against the people responsible. And if I didn't hear the minister speak, I would say he had nothing to do with it. And you know why? Because when you read the law, it says that the person really in charge of procurement in the ministry is the permanent secretary. However, in this ministry, Mr. Vaz's ministry, the person responsible for procurement is the chief technical director for corporate services. And what do we know about that person and that position? That position was advertised about a week and a half ago. And if you look it up, you'll see where they say the position is vacant. What happened to that gentleman? The timing is very suspicious. But he's gone. His job is advertised. We need to know answers to these questions. And that's why people, we cannot let these stories be 9-day wonders. My dear friend, Mr. Tavares, and I were speaking to a devout, and I won't use the word diehard, a devout JLP supporter who's a dear friend of ours who's watching this program. We love him to death. We've had some very, very lively conversations with him. And when I mentioned to this gentleman about fertilizer, you know what he said to me? He said, all time story that, man, that done and gone. And I said to him, if that's the attitude, then corruption will continue to be pervasive in Jamaica. Because when we look at it, we said 9 days gone by, done and gone, forget about it, let's move on to another one. People, we cannot let this happen. We simply cannot let this happen. And as long as there's a Jeffrey Tavares and there's a Wilfred Rattigan, it won't happen. And there are others as well. It's not just the two of us. Plenty other people in the space doing what we're doing. And we commend them and we embrace them. Because we're all in the fight to save the Jamaican people from these bloodsuckers. These people who call themselves servants, but they serve only themselves and their compadres and their family members. They don't serve the people they claim to represent. So we are going to continue with this story. There's a lot more